Hello everyone and welcome aning very short tutorial lang. So I'm sure that everyone can relate when I say that one of the most difficult tasks when it comes to working with case studies kay ang pagdevelop of schematic diagram. Not just because lisod and complicated ang disease process or pathophysiology sa mga diseases nga to ang gina-work on, but at the same time, medyo complicated sad ang mga tools nga itong ginagamit to develop these diagrams. For example, we have Microsoft Word, and I'm not sure kung unsa pang uban ng mga diagrams inyong ginagamit. Some people use Canva, and although they help us, but at the same time, really efficient and really user-friendly. Sometimes very disorganized yung mga elements sa ito ang diagram, di ba? So I'd like to show you on this tutorial sa ang kaning tool nga akong ginagamit so far when it comes to developing different kinds of diagrams, not just schematic, but at the same time, mga flowchart, business diagram, Venn diagrams, or any kinds of diagrams. So, kani siya nga tool, ang pangalan ani niya kay diagrams.net. So, pwede rin ninyo siya ma-search sa Google, and at the same time, pwede po din nyo siya gamitin as URL. For example, diagrams.net. Okay. So after you na siyang i-click, of course, you will be redirected in this homepage. So muna siya yung homepage, and there's no need for you to sign up any kind of accounts ani. So basically no sign up, no login. So meaning dili mo dili mo problema anang nay magsigi og send og mga promotion sa inyong inbox, sa inyong email, because this is for free, and at the same time no need for account creation. So the next thing that you'll have to do lang is to click on start. All right, and you will be redirected again on this page, and you will be presented with two choices. It's either you create new diagram, and of course you can also open existing diagram. So in our case, of course, wala pa man tay diagram nga na-create, so we'll just have to click on this one, create new diagram. Okay, and after that, you will be presented as well some choices kung unsa nga type of diagrams inyong buhaton. On the right side, or I mean on the left side, you can see different classified nga mga classification sa diagrams. So you have business diagrams, mga charts, engineering diagrams, flow charts. We also have software, mga UML diagrams. And yeah, if you're working on those types of diagrams, you can also choose, you can also click on them. Okay, so as you can see. But in our case, since we'll be working with schematic diagram, and I don't know kung unsa na siya ang classification diri so ang ako ang ginabuhat, gina-click na ako ang basic. And then ako ang ginapili is ang blank diagram because we'll have to start from scratch. Okay? So click niyo ang blank diagram. You don't have to do anything aning part because anyway, inyo ra magyapon na siya usbuno niya og type. So click niyo ang blank diagram and then click create. Okay? So again, basic, blank diagram, and then click create. All right. So for the next part, you'll have to choose kung asa ninyo siya i-save ang file. For example, i-save na to siya sa documents. So magbutan ta og file name. So let's have schematic diagram. And then for the file type, usually ang ginagamit is ang XML because mao na siya ang pinaka-default na file type sa diagrams.net. And then you have to click save. Okay, so automatically na siya ma-save, and after that, you will be presented with this interface. So you have the workspace sa middle, and then sa left side, you have the different nga mga elements na pwede ninyo gamiton. So again, naka-classified po na siya. You have the general nga mga shapes. You have the miscellaneous. Okay, usually pang programming na siya. And then mga advanced nga mga shapes for engineering, and arrows, and so on and so forth. But usually, ang ginagamit kay ang general lang na kuan kani siya nga tab because I'll be using the most basic forms of shapes naman. Diba? So kung na-remember niyo sa ato ang schematic diagram, we only use circles, rectangle, or square. So I'll choose rectangle. I-drag lang na ako na siya dra as ako ang workspace. And it depends kung asa ninyo siya gusto ibutang. It's either diri as a kilid, sa right side, pwede sa middle. In my case, I love balance man good, so I usually put my shapes in the middle. Okay, for example, kana siya. All right. So after that, you now have your first shape. And the next thing na lang atong buhaton, of course, is mag-add ta og mga details like text. Okay? So double-click lang ninyo siya. Automatically na yung magawas ng cursor and then start na kag-type. For example, mabutan tag etiology. We'll have predisposing factors. Okay, for example, sa ang last na case study, ang predisposing factors, di ba, kay age ni patient, which is 68. And then ang yapon gender, which is male. We also have the precipitating factors. And let's say, for example, we have, ano ba yun? Alcoholism, at smoking. All right, so if you're not contented with the size of the text, if you think na gamay ra kayo ang size, you can change the size, okay? So pwede niyo siya, for example, if ang tanan ninyo nga text ang gusto niyo i-change, so you'll have to select all or control A na lang diretso. And then on this part, you can choose the size. If ever wala dira sa option, you can click customize and then you'll have, for example, 15. Okay, and then you can also change the font style, for example, Tahoma. All right, so as you can see, automatically siya mag-change. Now, for example, if daghan kayo yung text, for example lang ha, daghan kayo yung text, yeah, hala ka, may yung dahil mo, hala, yung sobra naman. You don't have to worry about that. You just have to adjust your shape. Simple as that. So, for example, ano, automatically na siya. And dili mo mabalak ka kung magsige siya adjust magana. Okay? Because pag save ana kung asa to nga part na i-shape kato lang po lang yang i-save, so you just have to adjust your shape para ma-cover tanan. Okay, for example kana siya ana lang po din yun. All right, anyway, going back to the normal nga data. Okay, so for example, we are done with our first na element. Of course, the next thing that we need to do is to add more. For example, mag-add tag another shape. So you have two choices or two ways to do that. It's either mag-drag kag bagong nga shape draa. Okay? Pwede sad ka mag-automatically create a new shape by clicking on the previous na shape. And as you can see na ay 4 arrows dira. So for example, gusto nimo siya diri mo labas, so i-click lang natin yung kaning faded arrow. And then you can choose either this, pwede po kani, or any other shapes. Kung kani yung i-click, ang buhaton na niya ay copy-paste na niya ang previous. Pwede niyo siya automatically edit o pwede sad mo mag-create of new shape na empty. For example, kana. So automatic siya. And then of course, you can adjust your shape. Okay? All right, so for the next one, of course, mag-add na po kag bago nga text diri. Let's say, for example, we'll have liver injury. Ang good thing ani kung imuha siya, kung mag-create ka bago nga shape directly from the previous na shape, automatically niya ma-inherit ang settings nimo. So whatever the size of the text in your first shape, iyaha po dayang i-copy sa imuhang inherited nga shape. Okay? So for example kana sa imo sila size of font style. All right. So okay, so for example kana siya. And now you want to connect the two shapes. So how do you connect the two shapes? Simple na kayo. As you can see, click niyo na siya. And if you notice, di ba na ay maraog arrow. So, i-click niyo na siya, automatically na siya masumpay dito Okay? So there are also other ways to connect the arrows. Pwede po dingon ani. Drag kag arrow dito gikan sa imong general. And then imuha siyang ibutang sa mga kanang specific points niya na manggawas dra ang mga points. And then imuha siyang i-connect dra. Automatically, you will have your arrow connected. But I don't like the second method. Usually, ako ginagamit kay katong automatic like this one. And then, bisan pag-asa nimo na i-move imuhang shape, automatically magsunod-sunod ang imuhang arrow. Now, for example, if i-move nimo siya dra and you don't like the formation of the arrow, you can adjust. For example, this one. Ana lang nimo siya, mano-mano nimo siya adjust. Yun, automatically siya nag-adjust para nimo. Alright, so that's one way of manipulating your arrows. Mas sayon siya kumpara kay MS Word because sa MS Word man good, you have to work with a lot of points. But here, automatically siya nag-adjust and you can just manually manipulate the arrow according to your preference, di ba? Alright, so ibalik natin siya sa dati. Alright, so for example, if mag-add na po ito another arrow, okay, so for example, habutan ta dra o hepatocellular necrosis. So, ganun pa rin. Pwede mo siya i-click directly, ana. Yeah, pwede mo i-adjust ang imong shape. para mo adjust po lang yung arrow. And if, for example, if mag-add na po tag bag-o, let's say for example, dire butang na to og bag-ong shape, butang tag nodular formation. Okay, so pwede gyapon nimo siya i-connect ana. Oops. All right, something like that. Okay? So pwede sad ka magningan ani. For example, if kaning nga shape mo gusto i-connect dra, pwede nimo siya i-mano-mano, something like that. Again ha, sabon ako. So i-click nimo na ang kanang murag arrow, imong i-long press. Okay, then imuhang i-drag ang arrow mano-mano until mo connect siya sa dito ang shape nga imong gusto i-connect. So that's it. That's how easy you can manipulate the arrows or any kinds of shapes diri as a diagrams.net. Okay? So another thing is putting styles to your shapes. What I mean is colors, right? For example, there is a nodular formation. So for example, kung ano siya, symptoms, and you'd like to change the color for ano, di ba, classification. So you have to click on the shape, and sa right side, you can find style, and you can change it to whatever colors you'd like. Okay? For example, kana siya. Di ba? Change mo siya. Okay, so you also have another tab which is for text. So basically here you can bold your text. Pwede sa din mo siya i-italize, pwede mo siya butang underline. It depends kung unsa imong kang preference. Okay? So you also have the alignment. Okay, kung gusto nimo siya i-right align, center align, or left alignment. So it depends imong preference again. Okay? So ganun. That's how you change or manipulate your shapes and contents of your elements. So again, this is from the diagrams.net. And if you're worried na, for example, magsige ka og manipulate nga wala day na save ang imuhang text or ang imuhang progress, you don't have to worry because as you can see, all changes save every time nga mag-add ka draa or mag-make a change, automatically na siya mo save. Okay, so if ever man nga mag-brown out or ma-close nimo ang diagram, you can just work on with your previous nga progress automatically. Okay, so for example, if gusto sad ka mag-add og layers, what I mean is like this. For example, no, mag-add kag another nga shape diri. Kaya gusto nimo na siya himuong layers or additional nga layer. So, di ba, pag magbutang kag ningon ani kay matabunan ang previous. So, kung gusto nimo nga mobalik tong gaina katong mga natabunan, musaka siya sa imong layer, mahimo siyang first layer, you just have to click on the shape and then right click and then send to back. Okay? So, automatically dayon siya mobalik sa normal. And you now have your maraog ka na second layer nimo, nya naaboy maraog foreground. So, mara na jud siya diagram tanaw. Okay? So that's it. That's how you manipulate your diagrams. Now, if you're done with your project and you'd like to save it na, again, automatically siya mag-save. Now, you just have to make sure nga imo siyang export. Kaya kung gusto nimo siya ibutang sa imong MS Word, sa imong manuscript, of course, you need to export the file. And to do that, you just have to click on File and then Export. Okay? So you will be presented with several choices as well. We have the PNG or JPEG. We also have the PDF, but usually akong ginapili kay between PNG or JPEG. Pero ang pinaka-usual is ang JPEG. Okay? And then you will be able to manipulate kung unsa ka dako ang imong diagram. For example, you'll have 150% ang iyang zoom. And then after that, you'll have to click export. And then, of course, you'll have to choose kung asa nimo siya gusto i-save. You can save it in your Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, if you have those kind of things, but normally gina-save na to siya sa atong device. Alright, so click on device, and as you can see, automatic na siya ma-save sa imuhang downloads na folder. Okay, so you just have to go to your downloads folder, for example, diri. And as you can see, we have this, di ba? So i-click nimo siya. So you now have your exported nga diagram. So if you can notice, dako kaya tong workspace, di ba? Pero ang iyahang gi-save is katulang part nga na ay diagram or katong na ay shape. Meaning iyahang i-disregard tong mga white spaces. So dili na ka dapat mabalaka kung ang pag-arrange nimo sa imong diagram, hala, nara mo ko sa kilid, dako pa kayong space sa kilid ba? You don't have to worry about that because once you save your diagram, only those part nga na ay shapes ang iyahang i-save. Okay? So yun. All right, so that's it. That's how you export your diagram. Now, for example, if you have accidentally closed your tab or nawala yung internet, of course, ma-disconnect siya, di ba? Kay online man siya. So you don't have to worry about that because like I've mentioned, automatically siya nag-save. Therefore, you can also work on your project again, make modification again without worrying. Because as you can see, click lang natin ang start. You can just open the existing diagram. Okay? Click on your existing diagram. Pangitaon lang to nimo kung asa to nakasave to imong XML file gaina. So we have one here. And then click on open. And nagbalik na dayon mo sa inyong previous nga progress. And you can continue with your project. So that's it. That's how you use diagrams.net. So remember lang ha, diagrams.net. Okay, so anyway, thank you very much for listening and see you next time for next na po na tutorial. Okay, bye-bye.